Yo, what is up guys, Grim here, and welcome to the first episode of the Chaos Watch, where we take a look at what the most profitable thing is for you to farm. So this is the first episode. It'll be a weekly series for about the first month or so, and without further ado, let's dive into what the most profitable thing is to do in week 2 of the league. And we're going to start off with bossing. So first one up here, Breachstone department. Ulnatul is really profitable to farm due to the fact that his shield, the anticipation, is very much sought after right now at 500 chaos a shield. So when you're farming Ulnatul Breachstones, they do take quite a little bit of time, about 5 minutes to farm effectively. You can get through them on pretty much any character at this point, and you're going to be able to get a chance, a 1 in 20 chance at getting that shield. Now, Ulnatul is a little bit of a gamble because you may not get the shield a lot of the time, or you could get 3 shields in your first 3 runs. So it is definitely gambling, but with something interesting happening in the economy right now, you can mitigate a little bit of risk. So traditional Breachstones have a 50% chance of dropping a unique and a 50% chance of dropping a blessing. But higher tier Breachstones will give you a higher chance at dropping those uniques and blessings. And right now, if you take a look at Ulnatul Breachstones, the charged Breachstones are the same price at the normal Breachstones, and the enriched are only a little bit more money. So when you're running these Breachstones, you should absolutely be buying charged Ulnatul Breachstones and enriched Breachstones to get a higher chance to drop that shield. You may need to think a little bit about the enriched because I'm not sure what the drop rate is exactly, but it will juice it up way past 50% chance to drop a unique, and that'll increase your chance at getting the shields, and that's going to be a lot more money for you, so super good. In addition to that, the Breach Lords also have a chance to drop the new invitations, which are used to access Maven endgame content. That's not even factored into this profitability calculation here, so you're going to be making a lot more money than it says here, which should be pretty nice indeed. Very nice. Alright, moving on. What else can we farm? Well, we can farm Shaper. Right now, you cannot possibly lose on Shaper at all. So it's 40C to get in the door, and the Uber Elder fragments, which drop from it 100% of the time, are at least 40 chaos. So you're going to get all of his influence items and all of his uniques for free. Dying Sun still is a fairly expensive item, and you can get it 20% of the time on average, so you are going to make quite a bit of money if you farm Shaper, and you can also roll that into progressing your own invitations as well if you want to do those really in-game invitations as well. So super duper cool there. In addition to that, Elder is actually pretty good if you want to sell unidentified Watcher's Eyes. So it obviously doesn't show as a profit here, but if you sell the Watcher's Eyes unidentified, they're worth significantly more. So if we take a look here, an unidentified Watcher's Eye here is worth around 200 to 230 chaos, which is pretty good. Now here on the website, we just calculate it based on what the cheapest Watcher's Eye is, which is 50 chaos right now. But if you change that from 50 to 200, well, you'll actually be in the green. If you sell all those Watcher's Eyes unidentified, you're actually going to be up 25 chaos profit, which is actually a pretty good profit for farming Elder because he's pretty quick to do, and you can get sets really easy. And you're also going to mitigate some of your risk by selling the fragments that he has for Uber Elder. So super duper good there. As for the bosses, you can also farm Maven. Maven isn't too bad, but you know, she's not the insane profit machine that we're looking for. She drops about 31 chaos worth of loot, but a lot of that is stacked into the Maven's orb, which is a bit of a risk. Unless you're able to buy, 5 or 6 sets to guarantee yourself getting a Maven orb, it's got about a 25% chance to drop based on our current data. Then you're actually going to be at kind of a bit of risk. You could run 1 and get 1, but if you run 10 and don't get 1, you're definitely in the hole. So it's definitely a bit of a risk compared to Elder and Shaper, which are definitely a guaranteed pretty much profit if you run enough of them. The cool thing about Elder and Shaper is you're also able to spec into their ascendancy trees on the Atlas to increase your profit significantly with this node here, Gaze into the Abyss. This increases the chance of the Elder to drop a Watcher's Eye, and if you actually take a look at what the drop chance is currently with our data, it is actually fairly low. So it's got about a 25 to 30% chance to drop, and you're going to juice that all the way up to about a 35 to 40% chance to drop. It's going to increase your profitability considerably and make Elder one of the best bosses to farm currently if you sell those Watcher's Eyes unidentified to everyone on the market, assuming the prices stay fairly similar. Shaper, you're going to get a lot more Shaper bases, which you can sell for 15 to 20C here and there, depending on which one you get. So not too bad there either. So those are going to be the end game kind of bosses that we've taken a look here. The other bosses aren't looking too good, but if you farm the Feared Invitation, which is all 5 Ubers at once, and then you also get the Maven Splinters and all of the Watchstones and stuff like that, you can probably make money farming stuff like Cortex and stuff like that as well. If you do all of those encounters all at once, then you can make some cash. Let's move on to Guardians. So right now, if you farm Shaper and Elder Guardians, using the Ascendancy node Guardian's Aid, appear to get a 100% chance to have 2 Guardians instead of 1, with the second Guardian having a 50% chance to drop its fragment, then you're actually going to be making quite a bit of money as well. The cool thing is that you basically get a 100% chance to pay your money back. So Maze of the Minotaur costs 10C, Fragment costs 10C, and then you get the extra juice from Guardian's Aid, which is a 50% chance to drop another 10C fragment. So you're going to be making guaranteed money just by running these maps, and then anything else that happens in the map, you know, you drop another map, you drop some currency, you do the rituals and get something, is free. And remember, these are T16 influenced maps, so you have a high chance of getting something which is pretty good. In addition to that, you can also get some of the uniques, which can be worth a little bit of money, but they've definitely gone down in price since the early days of the league. So yeah, definitely pretty good to farm some Guardians. You can also, again, roll this into doing invitations. It's extremely profitable to do the invitations for Guardians right now. You can get Maven Splinters, which sell for a lot, and you can also get Watchstones and Orbs of Unmaking, which also do sell for quite a lot if you get good ones. So super duper cool. Alright, let's move on to Bestiary. So Bestiary is insane right now. A lot of the money in Bestiary is guaranteed, and you can also get some pretty nice drops. So the notable ones here are Venomous and Sackerwall. So right now, you can buy a Venomous key for 10 Chaos. And you can get a Beast in Venomous worth 10 Chaos 100% of the time. So when you do these Bestiary fights, you capture the boss, it goes into your menagerie, you sell it, and you can then easily get your money back. So why are you doing Venomous? Well, you can drop any of the uniques, which are all worth 10C plus. So you're pretty much guaranteed to make at least 10C profit per Venomous you do, and you can just chain through them pretty quick. It's about a 5 to 6 minute fight, even with low DPS. So you can definitely make a little bit of money farming Venomous, and you can also log in with your friends, and if they come into the fight as well, they'll also get a copy of Venomous, so you can actually go in there with 3 or 4 people, and you'll get 4 Venomouses, making this far more profitable. So you can do this with all the Bestiary bosses, and you can essentially get multiple Venomous First of the Nights, and you can capture them all and sell them in bulk, which is pretty nice to craft it. The other one to check out here is probably Sackerwall. So Sackerwall drops a pretty good item called Sackerwall's Nest. Again, the key is 5C, the beast is 5C. So you're essentially getting the uniques for free. So Sackerwall's Nest sells for about 35 Chaos. A well-rolled one will sell for significantly more though. So a trained eye can make a lot more money in Sackerwall than others. So you can make quite a bit of money here as well. And on average, you're going to make about 10 to 15C profit per run you do, which is not too bad there, considering you can do these fairly quickly. And bulk of these beasts is available due to the new Ascendancy node. So you can buy like 20 Sackerwall keys and go to town. So pretty nice. Alright, let's move on to mapping. So mapping is in a pretty interesting state right now. It's incredibly profitable if you're able to do the right areas. So right now, let's talk about Valdo's Rest, Metamorph, and Harbinger. So right now, Valdo's Rest is a very hot area. Right now, you have all 5 Ascendancy points. You can fully spec into Metamorph, which will get you an additional Metamorph per map, as well as some extra juice, as well as Harbinger. So if you're doing Alkengor maps in Valdo's Rest, you're going to get a lot of money. Now the best way to juice this up is to use Gilded Metamorph Scarabs on a 3 to 2 boss map. So the maps you're going to want to do are probably City Square and Promenade. The reason for this is because you can get full value out of the Metamorph with 2 different unique bosses. There'll be a video on this later. But you can get a lot of money right now doing Alkengor. It doesn't require an insane character. It's pretty much 0 investment apart from the Scarab, which is 3C, and you can make a ton of money back. Just by doing the Harbingers, just by doing that Metamorph, you're going to get a ton of currency. And the reason for that is, right now, if you take a look at Metamorph, we'll just go back to the website. You cannot possibly lose. Even if you bought Rusted Scarabs without the Ascendancies, you'd be making money. And the reason for this is because Catalysts are incredibly expensive right now. 1 Fertile Catalyst is 4 Chaos. So if you get 1, it immediately pays for 4 Rusted Metamorph Scarabs, or the whole entire Gilded Scarab. So you're going to make a lot of money doing Metamorph right now. You're going to get 2 Metamorphs per map, and if you use Gilded, they're all going to have rewards. So you're going to have a smorgasbord of rewards to pick from, and you're also going to get those Harbingers on top of that. So Alkengor maps and Valdo's Rest are really good place to get started making money if you've got a mapping character that can do this content. So super duper nice. Next up, possibly one of the best currency making strategies in the game right now is Legion in New Vestia. So if you have a character that can break out a full Legion and slay the monsters within, you are basically automatically rich. New Vestia is way too powerful right now. The node here, high value targets, essentially gives you about 3 to 4 legions worth of rewards in every legion. So you're essentially like quadrupling or tripling your loot due to the high value targets. If you can break those legions out and finish them, you're going to be showered in currency, exalts, and random drops. And that's not even including the legion splinters. They're incredibly cheap right now. I'm hiding all Legion Splinters on my filter, but you can also get pure emblems with Emblematic. You should be picking them up and selling them as well. And if you can do this with a rusted Legion Scarab or polished Legion Scarab, you're going to be making a ton of currency. I wouldn't recommend Gilded because the Splinters are so cheap and, you know, it does have a chance to drop an emblem, but you're really just after getting more raw Legions per hour. So I wouldn't go for Gilded, I'll go for rusted and polished. And you can see here that even without all of this insanity, so let's jump back to PoE profit. You would almost break even off using the rusted Legion Scarabs, just off Splinters and Incubators alone. You should use the Incubators from this strategy on your own character when you're slaying the Legions for extra money. So very good. New Vestia with those talents that I described. If you can break out the Legions, you're rich. Very nice indeed. Okay, next, let's go on to Betrayal. So Betrayal right now is actually pretty good. If you do this in Valdo's Rest as well, you decide to spec into Betrayal, you can get an absolute ton of safe houses and kind of rewards. So right now, you want to be focusing on both intervention and research. Research, you want it that fled, you want to be leveling them up to the master as much as possible. And in intervention, you want stuff like Chimeria, you want stuff like Gravicious, and those are for the Scarabs, because Scarabs are worth quite a bit of money as well. You want to be targeting them. Right now, the Breachstone that you want to be flipping with it that fled in Betrayal is actually Ulnatul, for the reasons we spoke earlier. Everyone wants to farm that shield, and you're going to be making a lot of profit by flipping Ulnatul Breachstones into pure Ulnatul Breachstones. So super cool. Betrayal, using the node in Valdo's Rest, super duper nice. Test of Loyalty is very insane. Next up, Incursion. Incursion you're going to do in Glenage Cans if you can, and in here you're going to be going for the tier 3 Sacrifice Chamber as well as the tier 3 Corruption Chamber. Corruption Chambers sell for a few exalts on the Forbidden Trove, and the Sacrifice Chambers is going to net you a clean 80 Chaos profit every time you get it, due to the fact that you can flip a Mask of the Spirit Drinker with a Vial of Summoning into a Mask of the Stitched Demon. You can do this fairly easily in Glenage Cans due to the Incursion node giving you a lot more Temple juice over here, and you're going to be able to make quite a bit of currency using Incursion, so that's also an option for you guys. Lastly, we'll quickly touch on Delirium. I think the best way to approach Delirium this league is to use one Delirium orb when you're farming. You basically can't lose money as long as you go over 5 rewards on any of the things you're doing. So buy some trash Delirium orbs, buy some good Delirium orbs. You're going to make your money back just off the Simulacrum Splinters and any random rewards you get. Buying trash ones is probably the play because you get a random reward with them on top of that, and that random reward could be worth, a ton of money. So very good there. I'd use them if you can buy them, but it's not essential. It's particularly effectively in New Vestia when you're doing Legion farming, and that's going to make you a lot more money using Delirium orbs in New Vestia. You can also do it in Valdo's Rest when you're doing those Alkengrim maps. If you're doing Harbinger, that's going to give you a ton of Delirium rewards as well. So that's going to be week 2. Of course, we'll have plenty more information on the site as we go. If you like this kind of video and you want to support us, make sure you check out our Patreon here. That'll give us lots of new ideas and lots more encouragement to make more features for the site. Make sure you keep an eye on things as it changes during the league. And this, I hope, helps you guys make a little bit of currency now and into the further kind of parts of this week. And with all that said, I'll see you guys in the next one and next week for another Chaos Watch. Until then, cheers.